Dan Illman, Mike Beer, race number 8 at Del Mar on Breeders' Cup Friday, the Grade 1 $1 million Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies turf. Let's take a look at this field. As always, there is a strong international cast. You always have to respect the Europeans in any of these turf races, Mike.
Yeah, you do. They tend to send over, quality horses for races like this. Obviously, the big purses that they get to run for. I don't feel like they necessarily drew too well with some of their major contenders in this race, but I think you do have to take them all seriously.
It is a very full field. One of the non-European runners is the one Pizza Bianca at 5-1 going out for Jose Ortiz, Christophe Clement. As we take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, we're going to see that Pizza Bianca can be placed in a really good spot after breaking from this inside post. The 2, the 4, and the 5 are all expected to show speed. I think Pizza Bianca will sit in close. Personally, I do think the 4, Turner Loose, they're going to live up to her name. I think she's going to the front.
Yeah, I thought that she would be on the lead as well. It certainly feels like the 2, Cairo Memories, will be a price in this race. Has good tactical speed, but I doubt that she's going to be up there contesting the pace early on in this race. We'll see what Bubble Rock does. She's stretching out for the first time. She's not exactly, one of those speedy sprinters, but she is stretching out, so maybe she'll be forward.
Let's watch Pizza Bianca's first start against winners for Bobby Flay, who bred this daughter of Fastnet Rock. This is the Grade 1 Natalma coming on the heels of a debut win at Saratoga. And you're going to see she's going to have to squeeze through a narrow opening in mid-stretch. She's through now. She comes with a run, and that's a good European horse, Wild Beauty, that will outfinish her to the line. But she ran really well, Pizza Bianca, considering her relative inexperience.
Yeah, this was a good performance. Her debut was fine at Saratoga, a race, that set up well for her. Both she and the runner-up came from last and next to last to run 1-2 in there. I thought she ran pretty well in this race, too. You saw how tight she was into the stretch, Dan. I mean, she never got stopped, but she did have to come through a pretty tight hole and was game to do it. That being said, the winner was so much the best in there. I realized that she was the favorite, but that horse overcame a lot of trouble and won easily.
Now, the 2 Cairo Memories is a bit slow on figures, but has looked very good in both of her starts in Southern California. Let's watch the Surfer Girl going a mile last time out. She got a fast pace, but she was pretty close to it. You see, she has already taken this over. By the time they turn into the stretch, she switches leads on cue, and she pulls away to win. Only a 70 buyer speed figure. She obviously has to do better, but the way she looks in her first 2 starts, it makes me think there's something still there in the tank.
Yeah, I agree with that. I at this stage of the game, especially when you consider that she's probably just going to be a really big price in this race, I don't care about the figures that she's running. She's been visually impressive in winning both of her starts. I like that she has tactical speed, Dan. So, she doesn't have to be that far away, and she's drawn towards the inside to save some ground. I think there's plenty to like about this horse at a price, and I'm going to use her.
Cachet, the number 3, is one of the European entrants. She has already raced 7 times. She's coming off of a 3rd in the Group 1 Fillies Mile, a race in which Wild Beauty, the winner of the Natalma over Pizza Bianca, finished 5th. Now, Cachet, when she breaks, has shown tactical speed in Europe. Sometimes she doesn't break. If she doesn't break here, she could be in trouble. And I wonder if she's more of a 7/8 of a mile horse than a miler.
Yeah, I wonder that too. And I also just sort of wonder how good she is. I mean, her races are obviously fine. She hasn't won since she scored out her debut. She's been right there several times, though. Listen, I thought she had a really nice trip in the Fillies Mile last time. Wasn't good enough. Thought she had a good trip 2 starts back when Hello You, who's also near, beat her. Wasn't good enough. Maybe she gets the right trip in here and it makes a difference. But I just found that there were other more interesting horses in here.
You and I both believe the 4 Turner Loose, one of the Brad Cox train runners, along with the 5 Bubble Rock, both of them with speed. We believe Turner Loose will make the lead under Florence Giroux, as she did last time out in the Jessamine, and she went a very fast pace in that race. We'll watch it later. California Angel came from far, far back. Turner Loose only got beat a neck. I think she ran a lot better than maybe it even looks with that 72 buyer next to her.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think in a lot of ways, maybe she's the horse that you want out of the Jessamine. She ran fine in that race. Her first 2 races were easy wins. I didn't necessarily think she ran great in those spots, but she does have speed. I think that makes her dangerous. Maybe she even took a bigger step forward last time than it looks like she did on paper. I can see her being effective in here, Dan, but I wanted to bet other horses.
I like all of Bubble Rock's race, the number 5 for Brad Cox. Solid debut effort when she got beat at Saratoga, caught the right field and the right trip in her second start sprinting. And then she won the Grade 3 Matron at Belmont, a race we'll show you right now, going 3/4 of a mile. And she's hung outside turning into the stretch, but you always had the feeling that she had these horses measured. She is going to have to work. She will get up. I think the extra distance is going to be okay for her.
Yeah, I don't think I mind her stretching out either. I do sort of wonder if this is the right race for her, though. I'll wait and see what kind of price she is. Then I think she has talent. She's run well in all three of her starts. I don't think she's run great. She hasn't done anything spectacular, and this obviously isn't, the most impressive win in the world. But she did what she had to do. I could go either way on her. I would want a pretty big price if I was going to bet her.
Coming in from Europe is the 6, Hello You. I thought Hello You had a pretty good trip, winning the Rockfell Stakes last time out, going 7/8 of a mile, just sort of tucked in behind the leader, got to the front over that firm ground, and that could be key. A lot of these European horses are here for the firmer ground, and the 4th place horse from that race did come back to win a listed event.
Yeah, I thought she ran pretty well in that race too. I think I agree with you. I thought she got a good trip and prevailed at the end. Her race 2 back was okay as well. Another one of those Europeans. I think she's pretty good. There's nothing about her races that I've watched over there that make me feel like she's some kind of star, but maybe she just fits really well in here.
You rarely get Chad Brown under the radar. He's got a couple in here that might offer some value, including the 7 Consumer Spending. Like this horse's maiden win over yielding ground 2 starts back. In behind horses, had to bull her way out and then was on her way. And Chad found a great spot at Laurel last time out for her first race against winners, the Salima. Let's watch that one right now, going 1.16 over the firm going. There was a good pace in front of her. You see her getting to the outside right now after being on the inside. And once she splits horses and once again bulls her way out, she is much the best.
Too good for these horses. Got a really nice sort of in-out trip in this race, and I like the way she finishes it off. Worth, I guess, pointing out, Dan, that she's a huge favorite in here. The horses that run second and third are 81-1 and 87-1. She just really didn't have any trouble handling that field. I thought her first 2 races were fine, but I will say she got really strong and contested paces in front of her in both of those races, and to at least a certain extent took advantage.
Curious on your thoughts on the 8 Sail By, the winner of the Miss Grillo last time out. Let's watch that race. This was the first time the daughter of the promising young stallion Astern was able to go long. She was able to sit just off of the pace, and she kind of grinds this race out, Mike. You're going to see the pace setter, a big long shot, eventually fade. I'm not sure what's behind her. I think there's some promising horses. Sail By got a good trip overall. The race came back light.
Yeah, I mean, I like her as a horse, and I actually feel like she's pretty talented, and I think that she's run well in all 4 of her starts so far. That being said, she certainly took advantage in the Miss Grillo last time. She got a great trip in a race that did just set up really well for her. The pace was rated. She sat up close, and she had first run on the closers. I feel like she took advantage last time, but I also think she has some talent, and she's going to be a price in here.
If you're looking for a horse with an explosive turn of foot, look no further than the 9 Koala Princess, going out for Joel Rosario. Arnaud Delacour just blew him away in the debut at Monmouth on the lead. Had to do it the different way last time out at Kentucky Downs. Let's watch the Ainsworth. 6.5 furlongs at Kentucky, might play longer with this long stretch. She got a very nice trip. She saved ground every step of the way, but boy, does she fire in the stretch.
Yeah, it comes with another big run in here. As you mentioned, her debut, she just absolutely destroyed that field right on the front end. This time they did it a different way. They sat back off the pace. Inside felt like it was where you wanted to be on this turf course at this time of the meet, but still, just the way that she comes flying through the inside and is going away at the end. I know she has to stretch out in this race, Dan. She probably has to take another step forward to win. I feel like, though, talent goes a long way in races like this, and I feel like she might be as talented as anybody in here.
And Arnaud Delacour has very good numbers historically, stretching these 2-year-olds out in distance. Helen's Well is the 10, beaten favorite in her last 2 stakes tries in Southern California, including a runner-up effort behind Cairo Memories in the race we showed you before. This is a filly that has no early speed and thus is at the mercy of pace and racing luck, and maybe she didn't get that racing luck last time out when she was second.
Yeah, maybe not. I still prefer Cairo Memories out of that race, Dan. I guess this filly's just going to sit back and try to make one big run, but you'll get a price this time.
Chad Brown has a daughter of empire maker named Haughty, the number 11, who finished first in her debut and was disqualified, and then scored very easily as an odds-on favorite should in this race at Keeneland on October the 17th. Let's watch Haughty, who get right up close to the pace here and turns into the stretch, and it's just good night, Irene, from here. Only a 73 buyer, but Chad's showing a lot of confidence putting this lightly raced filly into the Breeders' Cup off just a maiden win.
Yeah, sure enough. I mean, she wins this race very easily as a very heavy favorite as well. She was much the best in her career debut. I guess you could say she was justly disqualified for that race for causing interference, but she still ran a nice race that day. I don't know. I feel like her two races are okay. She didn't do anything either time that would make me want to bet her in here, unless she was going to be some kind of really big price, and you tend not to get really big prices on horses like this.
Two major players from Europe are up next. The 12 Malavath, the 13 Mise en Scène. Both didn't draw very well. Malavath coming off a win in a Group 2 in France. That race was at 6 furlongs. She showed some really nice tactical speed to just tuck into the pocket behind the leader. She got out and split horses with a furlong to go, and she fired by them late. The third place horse came back to run second in a listed stakes. The fifth place horse came back to win a listed stakes. This filly has some kick, but there are two major questions. Aside from the post position, she's got to stretch out, and is she as effective on firm ground as she's been on soft thus far?
Yeah, I'm going to say that she's going to be fine on the firm ground. I don't know about stretching out, but it wasn't something that I was necessarily concerned about with her in this race. I think she's going to handle that as well. I don't love that she's drawn, out in post 12, but I just like the way she's progressing. When I watched her debut, I felt like it was a race that she really needed. She was green in that race. She never looked like she was all in. And she's just taking steps forward with every race since then. She did get a perfect trip last time to win, but she didn't get a perfect trip two back, I didn't think. I like the way that she sort of squeezed through in tight and won that race very easily.
Mise en Scène, the 13, won her first two starts. I like that she won those races around a bend. Some of these European horses come in off straightaway wins. They're not used to turns. Mise en Scène then stepped up into a Group 1 last time out. I couldn't really find an excuse. She was sort of in between horses at the back of the far side group, pushed along with about a quarter mile remaining, and then just stayed on evenly. I personally think she disliked the given the ground that day, and she should appreciate the firm going at Del Mar, but it's not a good post.
Yeah, I wish she had a better post because I'd have more confidence in her. We'll see if she can work out the right trip. I'm not gonna be that hard on her for that race last time, Dan. I just sort of felt like she was never in a great position in that race after they rated her back and put her behind horses early. I thought she was trying really hard at the end of that race, though, and maybe ran better than it looks. I thought her first two starts were both really nice performances. I think she's good. I wish she had a better post.
And here's California Angel, the daughter of California Chrome, winning the Grade 2 Jessamine at Keeneland from far, far back. It was a fast pace. The fast pace was set by Turner Loose. Widest turning into the lane at a big price is California Angel, and she mows him down.
Yeah, she's just going to keep staying and staying and staying. She's not flying through the stretch here, Dan, but she's just going to keep staying on. She does not change her lead, but it doesn't matter. She keeps coming, and she ultimately gets there at the end. The race did set up well for her, but she ran a nice race. A big upset winner in her career debut, back on turf for this race, another big upset win. She's an easy horse to root for. I don't think I'm going to be betting her.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. It is a wide open race. The turn of foot, Mike, that Koala Princess has shown in two starts, very, very impressive. She's got to be a playable price, I would think, against these Europeans as she stretches out in distance.
That's what I thought. I felt like she was going to be a fair price. Again, I feel like she may be as talented as anybody in this field. She has enough pedigree for me to think she's going to stretch out to at least a mile for this race. And I feel like she's tactical enough to get any kind of trip in here, Dan. I just feel like there's a lot to like about her. I wanted her. The two Europeans I liked both drew pretty poorly on the outside, so I relegated them to third and fourth. I want to throw Cairo Memories in there and see if she can up her game a little bit in this spot.
I think Mise en Scène might have the most upside of any of the European entrants. I think the distance is going to be okay for her. And I think there's got to be some pace in a big field like this. So it's all about whether we can work out a trip from post 13. But I like what I've seen from her thus far. It'll be interesting to see how they bet this race. Mike's going 9, 2, 12, and 13. I'm going 13, 6, 3, and 12. It's the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. Best of luck.